Going live. Hey everyone, it's Julie Marc here from RVLove. We don't usually do YouTube lives, but you know, today's a special day, isn't it? And we've got a bit of washed out going on here, so excuse us for a minute while Marc fixes that up. It's very much blowing out. Sorry for the short notice, or very little notice for many of you to join us. Got a few little technical difficulties here, so we're just trying to navigate those right now. But I think that's kind of the least of the challenges that everyone's been dealing with this week. Do you want to hold on to that and just chat to everyone a minute?
Let me see if I can take it out of the case. So, apologize for moving the camera around here right now. I'm trying to put it on a tripod to make it more stable.
We really need to practice our YouTube live. Okay, we got 35 people here. Thanks, guys, for your patience and hanging in with us while we're a complete little technical mess over here.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to have to be doing more of these, I think, so we can check in with you more often. So, hi, Myrtle. Myrtle, is it Myrtle? Hi, guys. How are you? Let us know where you're from. And, hey, Danny, thanks for joining us. Oh, the president's about to speak. I may be back and forth. I will be honest, we have not checked the news at all today, unless you checked it.
I did not.
Sometimes it's good just to have a day off from the news. We're settled down here just to give you a little background. Of course, if you're watching any other news of the president's address, go right ahead and do what you need to do. You can always catch this on the replay later. We don't usually do YouTube lives, as you know. Here we've got Alan. You know what? Let's just check in and welcome everyone for a minute. Hi, Alan from Huntington, Sutton from Massachusetts, Janice. How are you, Janice? Here in Arizona, Rambling Ruse in Austin. Daniel, staying safe in Minnesota. Debbie, yes, no worries at all, Debbie. And oh, hi, Mike and Dee. I'm glad you made it to Maryland safely on your way back to Canada. Susan from Ohio. Shelley in Delhi, California. Illinois. We got people from all around the country, which is, you know, I have to say, this is one of, gosh, I think everyone would agree, this is one of the bizarre positives that's coming out of this rapidly changing, unfolding, crazy situation that we're all dealing with, is that we're all in this together. Everyone around the world, everyone around the country, and it's really, I don't know about you guys, but my head's been spinning with that, just sort of like, you know, just really understanding what that really means and what's going on here for us, because we don't really know what's going on. No. But just in terms of, sorry if I'm not making much sense, but I'm just thinking more about, you know, the bigger human impact this is having on all of us, adjusting to how to deal with this, what's going on. And Gail here says it's the most unity we've all had since 9/11, and I would agree with that. You know, the RV community as a whole, you know, as most of you know, is such an amazing, wonderful, supportive community. But this goes way beyond that, to beyond RVing, to everyone around the country and everyone around the world. I was chatting to my family in Australia yesterday, and they're dealing with it similar, not quite to the same level that we are here in North America yet, but pretty close behind, I think. But we've got people here in Clermont returning to Canada in 2 weeks.
Yeah, a lot of folks, and well, it's just been, like Julie said, it's just been amazing the level of impact, and for everyone, and it's interesting to think about how different it is for RVers too. You know, there's not a lot of travel going on anywhere, regular traditional travel styles, but even in RV travels. And
right, we did a blog post last week. I don't know if any of you have had a chance to read it, where we talked about 13 unexpected benefits of living in an RV through this time. And at the time I wrote it, before things really started to escalate the way that they have in the last 7 days, which has been head spinning. And I reread that to make sure that I'd made some updates. And still the core information in there was true. We feel very grateful that for our home on wheels here, we're parked in the Arizona desert, boondocking at the moment. And we feel grateful for that, because we feel fairly self-sufficient and able to self-contain, self-quarantine easily, not expose other people so much or ourselves, and just do our bit to help flatten the curve. But, you know, in rereading the article, you know, one of the things that I'd said was that, you know, we can just go, you know, live as usual and travel and go to national parks. And that is not the case. And technically we could, but we're choosing not to. And we're encouraging you guys not to as well, if that feels right for you. Certainly not here to tell you what to do. But here are some of the reasons why we're not doing any travels right now. I think it's pretty obvious that we're all being asked to stop and to hunker down when we are and to stay safe. And that's just not for our own health and well-being, but for everyone else in our community, everywhere that we go, every store, every gas station, every campground, anytime we're encountering other people, we're putting others at risk. And just by hunkering down for, I don't know how long it's going to be. It was 15 days, 30 days. I don't know how long it's going to be, but it takes as long as it takes. And, you know, we had originally thought, well, why don't we go for a drive to a national park and we can just stay in the car. We like to drive, or, you know, maybe we'll go for a bit of a hike. But I've been seeing some of the news reports of people understandably getting cabin fever and flocking to national parks and wanting to be outdoors because, of course, we know it's healthy to be outdoors, be in the fresh air and get, you know, deal with some of that cabin fever, or your family, your kids, you may not.
Well, especially for people who are not used to that at all. There's a lot of people who are not used to spending that much time
right,
at home,
and those of us in RVs do. We're used to living in smaller spaces with our significant others. And so anyway, apologies to whoever if I put an incorrect link somewhere. I'm sorry and hope you forgive me. But I'm glad you found us. But back to what I was saying is we've just now really rethought that, and just that, you know, we just don't feel, for us personally, that it would be responsible to go out and spending our time hitting up national parks and doing all of those things right now. We're fortunate we've seen a lot of them, and we hope to see many more. But right now, everything we do when we step outside of our RV has the potential to impact others. And I think we are all in life, you know, we all set an example by who we're being and how we show up in the world. And if we go out to national parks and, you know, especially if we were to share something on social media about it, I feel personally that would be a little irresponsible, because it's one, going to really piss a lot of people off by saying, look at us, we're out here having a great time while you're stuck at home, which is just wrong and rude and selfish. But it's, and I apologize if I sound opinionated here, but, you know, I think I'm just going to tell it like it is. But I think, you know, go out at those parks, you're still encountering other people. When the government shutdown happened, I can't remember how long ago it was now, people were still going to the parks because you could, but they were also leaving their trash, and the trash bins were being overflowing with trash. Well, we don't know what's going to be happening with trash services, and those people that are working, and anyone that's in essential services that is going to work right now, are putting themselves and their families at risk on a daily basis. I don't want this to be a somber channel. You guys know we're all about looking on the bright side and being inspiring, but I feel like I'm a little bit on a soapbox here. It's just, I think we all need to do our bit to show up and who we're being and how we're showing up and handling this situation, and that includes staying calm where we can. None of us have ever faced this before. None of us know the answers. We don't know what's coming up. I saw in the comments there someone said it looks like it could be up to 31 days at least, and, you know, it is what it is. But if we get in the coach and we go drive somewhere else, and some of you may know, I know we haven't put it on YouTube yet, but it's been in the email newsletters and the blog and social media. We just haven't had a chance to do the YouTube video yet. We had not a breakdown, but a big repair that was needed on our coach a few weeks ago. And we're very glad that we got that done, because now we can sit here and we're safe. But if we take our coach out and we have a breakdown, or if there's an accident, or anything, anytime we go out, we go to a gas station, we're touching things. We went to Love's on Friday when we learnt what was been happening. We just said, let's just go dump our tanks, fill our fresh, dump our waste, fill our fuel, fill our propane, and just get ready to settle in. And I was very conscious. I think this has made a lot of us very mindful and conscious of a lot of things that maybe we weren't conscious of before, like, for example, toilet paper usage. and I'm now counting the sheets of toilet, because I am embarrassed to admit I've been a terrible toilet paper waster all of these years. And I always gave Marc a hard time for ripping paper towels in half, and now we've agreed not to tease each other about those things.
Right.
Because, yeah, but
I think you were talking about.
Yeah, I just thought a bit of humour maybe was good there for a minute. Sure. But anyway, we went to the Love station, and it was full of truckers, and these truckers are transporting our supplies across the country: medical supplies, health supplies, food, toilet paper, everything, things that we're ordering on Amazon. So I was just really aware of just how essential all these people are in making it possible for us to live and to get through this, and the sacrifices that they're making. And I think we've dealt with like 5 people at Loves.
Right.
And, you know, I went in and, you know, I asked a question, asked for the propane. Marc dealt with a guy with the propane at a distance, but still a couple of cashiers and then the truckers. And I realized there were like 5 people in one transaction for us. And I was thinking not so much about us and our risk, because I was taking precautions. They had sanitizer everywhere and stuff. There was a guy doing a fantastic job with a bottle of sanitizer and rags and just wiping down the pumps. Did not stop the whole time we were there, and there was a long queue, so we were there a while, and I was just, you know, was grateful for him. And I think just realizing that all of those people every day are being exposed to probably thousands of people. And that was here in Quartzsite, Arizona, a small town. This is not a big city, but still it's a hectic truck stop. And so I think just that awareness of how many people were there risking their lives going in because they had to. They're an essential service. And so the less we can strain that service, the less we can go out and drive and run the risk of a breakdown. You know, our coach is 20 years old. I mean, even if you've got a newer RV, you've got a good chance of breaking down as well. But, you know, probably higher for us being an older RV. And what if that happens and we have to call a tow or we have to get it in for repair? And how many people is that impacting? So I think what I'm trying to say here, and I'm completely monopolizing Marc.
That's
I'm sorry.
okay. I'm just letting you roll, honey. That's all okay.
I think what I'm trying to say here is that when we go out and do anything, let's think about how many other people we're impacting, because we don't know what anxiety they're facing, seeing all of the customers coming in and having to show up and deal with them every day. And so that all that we can do bit by bit to reduce that anxiety and risk for everyone, I think is going to be good for all. So that's why we're not going to national parks. We'll go for walks around the RV where we are, just out in the desert here, get in a bit of exercise, go for a bike ride. But
gives us an excuse to see just how long we can test our system to and our ability to use water and skip on water. So it's kind of makes a fun game with that. But
we haven't put up. I think we put up one video when we first got CC, and that was before we got our off-grid system. And we've been wanting to do a much more comprehensive video about that. So this is a great chance now to be able to really see how far we can go. Well, thanks, Wesley. We've got some. Let me just take a minute here to check in with some of the comments. Hi guys, thanks for being here. If you're liking anything of what you're hearing, give us a thumbs up and let us know we're on the right track and I'm not just babbling. But we are. So back to that. That brings up content, right? So, hi Kim and Daniel. How we're doing. Man, wish you could offer us a place to stay. You know, thank you, Kim. I really appreciate that. Just so you know, we are here in Quartzsite, Arizona. We were actually already here in the area, just hunkering down after our big 34 days away in Florida and Texas in our rental RVs. And we're just looking forward to the opportunity to really just laying low and getting caught up on content when all this started to spiral out the way that it has. And we had told you last week in a post on the comments and also email newsletter that our video on our Class B rental experience in Florida was going to be going up midweek, so Wednesday. We just could not do that with everything going on. It just felt really insensitive. It felt inappropriate. It felt like sending out a message saying, hey, look, we're out in a rental RV having a great time exploring Florida, when a lot of Florida's closed down.
Well, and rental RVs are discouraged.
And rental RVs are being discouraged right now. A lot of them are actually being used to quarantine people that have been exposed. So we've got, if I'm getting distracted, it's the other questions coming up here. We might have missed a few. So maybe Marc, if
I haven't been able to, I've looked away a couple times trying to figure out how to figure out comments on there. The one I just saw there, talking about us being in Quartzsite, whether or not we're concerned about the heat coming up here. And that is probably what's going to drive us out of the area eventually, is the heat here, because in May the temperatures get to be mid-90s, which is a bit hot for boondocking. Yeah,
and Wesley just said it's a great teaching moment for those of you that are considering RVing. Thank you, Wesley. I hope so, because we've never been through this. None of us have.
Well, I think it's really good to be able to share this experience, what it's like as full-time
Yeah.
RVers, because most people who do any RV travel at all are part-time RVers or vacationers, and so they might just go out every once in a while. They still have their traditional home, but as full-timers, it's a very different situation where there is no home base. We're
Yep.
just out traveling, and so we do need to find places to stay. And when you see closures of campgrounds, a lot of state facilities, and even some BLM land. And
Yeah.
there's been a lot of closures of places, reducing options for people who are full time.
Florida is particularly affected right now, so we really feel for all of you in Florida because a lot of RVs flock to Florida in the winter. There was a mass exodus of Canadian snowbirds heading home earlier than expected. And yeah, so yeah, no, the full timers I've been keeping up with some of the comments in some of the Facebook groups. I'm trying to not to get too caught up in that because you can go down a spiral with that and lose a lot of hours pretty quickly and not necessarily get specific information. But Florida is really affected. The Keys have been closed. Some counties have made, and some of you may already know about this, but some counties have actually issued ordinances where local non-life supporting businesses need to close. And even some of the RV parks, I mean, they are, so you might have seen some announcements saying that campgrounds around the country have been forced to close, private as well as public. So public, the government run, has been closed first. The private ones, many of them are run by family businesses. Many of them are. So everyone's going to feel the impact of this. But in Florida, people are just looking for somewhere to go with their RV. And if you're not a resident of the state, a lot of visitors are being asked to leave. A lot of tourists are being asked to leave. Somebody's just said, question, latest could be in Florida, private will stay open. So there are a lot of private campgrounds out there. I've seen a lot of panic about where we're going to go. They're closing state parks and they're closing BLM land and they're closing national forest. That is not true entirely. Some areas are. And so we actually...
But they're reopening, they're reconsidering that because they're realizing a lot of campgrounds are life essentials.
So I think...
I saw someone just post that comment too. But
there was some, I think, lobbying went on about that for Florida, Pennsylvania, California, and New York, I believe. And we actually just posted a video, let me start again. We just posted an article, you guys, RVLove.com/COVID-19, COVID-19, no dash in there. And it's an update of official links and resources to get to the source of the answers of the questions you're looking for. So rather than second guess, rather than go into random Facebook groups with a bunch of strangers that probably trying to find answers just as much as you, and there are a lot of great, helpful people out there. But what I found was I was wasting a lot of time sifting through those groups. I was getting frustrated. I didn't like seeing the arguing and the anxiety that was going on and the rumors. So that just happens. That's social media. So, I'm trying not, I don't want to judge, but what I did want to do was create a resource that we would personally find helpful to be able to go to the horse's mouth, so to speak, and get a specific, up-to-date, accurate answer. So pulling together a bunch of resources, categorized, and I just hit publish on that, I think, midnight. So I just sent it out in the email newsletter and shared it on Facebook, so you can jump over and find that now. This live got started quickly, so the link isn't in the description yet, but as soon as this call is done, we'll add that link in there for you. But just go RVLove.com and you'll see it's the latest video, and it's a roundup of accurate resources. By no means is that complete. We need your help to help you to keep that up to date. So if there are any glaring omissions, please let us know. We need to let the government know we're full-time. We need the parks to stay open. That's a very good point and a very big concern for a lot of people. And I think we, along with everyone that are full-time RVers, and many of you out there that are thinking about full-timing, and that is a concern. I mean, this situation's unprecedented and really does make us think about, well, yeah, we are homeless, but we're not. We have a home, but where are we allowed to park it? And we're Texas domicile, we're Texas residents, so we're in Arizona right now. It's a long way to Texas. I'm getting more comments here. Yes, national parks. Basically, guys, government-run camping facilities as generally are closing. And I imagine a lot of that is just lack of resources too, and safety of their own staff and volunteers. So while we're dealing with how to deal with that for us, we also need to stay compassionate and think about others, other organizations, other people. And so government doesn't really understand so many full-time. No, but I think it's, everyone could agree, they've got a lot of things to think about and juggle right now.
They do. And someone just also made the comment that, and as full-timers or travelers, it's a good idea to just find a private park that you could stay in for a significant amount of time, a month or 2 months. And when you're looking for one, it's also a good idea to look at one that has a lot of annual residents and people that stay there year-round, because that helps solidify the case that that is essential life services type campground or RV park.
Exactly. Yeah, those that have annual sites, they are providing a residence for people. So somebody had also said that 1,000 Trails was allowing people to extend stays, but you have to ask. So that's great to know. Yes, Joe, Corps of Engineer Parks as well, that's government run. So, you know, if you guys go over and what's his call and ask, many private park owners have been hit hard. Yeah, this is going to, I mean, this is impacting businesses, small business and big businesses around the world. Call your local private parks, because they are less likely to get shut down by government, especially if they have annual residents on long-term or annual sites. You don't even have to stay where you are. I know it might be hard for some of you in Florida if you work locally. Maybe you're at a campground where you have to, but then I would imagine if you're working, you would have an annual site or something and be considered a resident. So, but if you're vacationing in Florida, you know, you got wheels, maybe get them turning and head up and out of that area to a more remote area, because we're going to be hiding away for a while. We can't go out and do anything and see the exciting things that are usually on our doorstep anyway. So, just find somewhere where you can hunker down. I think what's really important, and even for us this last week, just taking the day on Thursday to dump and fill our tanks, get everything completely full. We've got food, we've got everything that we need to stay self-contained and prevent putting others at risk, and just help do our bit to help flatten the curve. We felt a lot calmer and more peaceful in ourselves. We're both really sensitive, so we pick up on a lot of the anxiety and fear that's going on out there. So that is one good thing about how we've got some separation from that. But I will say that, you know, we tend to try to stay calm in the face of when things go wrong. Oh, thanks, Carl. He likes our blog post.
You've had multiple comments on people saying they really liked the resource page you built. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, that's good. So, but like I said, anything else you feel is missing, please let me know. But just go, sorry, I'm sidestepping just for a second, but go to that resource first. When you have questions, see if you can find the answer from one of those official links first before spinning your wheels out of control or buying into rumors or buying in, well, I heard this and I heard that. And I'm really noticing myself, catching myself when I say, well, I heard this, and then I'm like, oh, but where did I hear it? And asking about that source. Well, did I just hear about it in a Facebook group? I mean, that is probably good practice for all of us right now, is to ask, well, what was the source, and to go and verify that instead of getting our wheels caught up into a spin and then spreading those rumors or misinformation out there. And some information changes, like the campgrounds in Pennsylvania,
right?
You know, in other states that were told to close, but now that's been reversed. So as RVers, we can do a better job of self-containing than most people. So we're really fortunate like that. But I did get a little sidetracked. Let me come back to where I was. Joe says 1,000 Trails are stepping up. Thank you, Joe. I have noticed that actually. We're not in 1,000 Trails Park right now. We were booked to go back to 1,000 Trails in Palm Springs this past week, and we made the decision not to. Again, the reasons I mentioned earlier. Don't get on the roads. It's only 2.5 hours, but still something can go wrong. Don't overload a campground where other full-timers are looking for somewhere to park when we are off-grid capable. We can easily stay here and free up a site for somebody else that needs it and doesn't have the kind of off-grid capability that we do. But what I was getting to a few minutes ago when I got sidetracked, so it's really distracting with all these messages coming up, is just knowing that we had our tanks, our fuel tanks and our water tanks filled and our other waste tanks emptied, and having enough food to know we can get through the next couple of weeks, at least, probably a month, really. I mean, I've been wanting to lose weight anyway, so it's probably a good thing. But just knowing that we had our basic needs met was very comforting. No, whereas not everyone does have the same capabilities, and so I think we're all at the moment scrambling to get our basic needs met, you know, food, shelter, toilet paper for us and our families, and getting those, and I am seeing that stores are being restocked. And I mean, the service industry is working around the clock, guys, to take care of us all. They're like, transport is going non-stop, truckers are working, people are restocking the shelves, opening early in the morning with a fully sanitized store so that the high risk group over 60 can go in first and shop excuse me, with a fully sanitized store. You know, thank them, thank those people. That's what we realized, you know, what I realized at Love's on. Marc actually didn't go into the store for the first time, it was me. Yeah. And I realized that was really powerful trip to, yes, God bless our truckers, Wes, for sure, and everyone in the service industry and in health and hospitals, because we need you all so much. So anyone out there that's doing that, thank you, because I think sometimes they're thankless jobs, and some, like the guy going around with his sanitizer bottle cleaning the pumps at the Loves, I'm sure that's a pretty thankless job that no one pays much attention to. But right now I was just like, man, don't underestimate, and don't, you know, everyone stacking the shelves at the grocery store. I made a point, we went to the local market here, and I was just like, made sure I said thank you to the cashier and to the people stacking the shelves. They were all in good humor and spirits.
Well, and it's important to be able to spread some of that too, because a lot of people are stressed out, and so by spreading some love and spreading some positive energy to people, I think it'll help reduce some anxiety that people experience.
I think that's really important. It's just keep our anxiety down. I mean, last week was just crazy for everyone, so you thank them from 6 feet away. Exactly. Thank you. Just across the store, it works just fine. But yeah, I think just get your basic needs met for you and your family. And I think if you're in Florida or any of those places where you're being asked to leave, or you're a tourist, or this is happening everywhere, just try and find a place, a private campground that you can hunker down in for a month or two, because a lot of these small businesses are family-owned campgrounds, and I'm sure they'll be very happy for the business. There are some great resources on that blog post that I mentioned, rvlove.com/COVID-19. So it's separated into government-owned facilities, private camping and overnight facilities, and it's a dynamically changing situation, as I think everybody understands. So things, you know, like Walmart, for example. Typically there are many Walmarts we can stay in overnight, and we do that on our way to where we're going. But maybe just be a little mindful of the parking lots and the truckers right now. I mean, they need somewhere to park and rest. Rest areas is another one. Some of them are being closed down, and I heard a report from Dee, who's just commenting right now. They've just made their way from Florida, and they're on their way back up to Canada, because they're Canadians, obviously, and staying in Maryland with family at the moment. But she made a comment that a lot of the rest areas now, there are RVs in there, and truckers are all out on the street and lining up, and there's not place for the truckers. And we need to really be, you know, we're important too, and where we live and where we stay, but what we're doing as RVers is not life-sustaining in the way those truckers are. So if we can go and stay at a private campground for a night, we get it. We prefer staying at a Walmart where we can, because we're just pulling off the interstate, you know, at any hour of the night that suits us, you know, get some rest and then restock and then head off again.
Keep driving, yeah.
But right now, and then also we don't have to unhook our toad. But right now, given the situation with the truckers, and we don't want the rest stops to be closed down, try and make the space available for them. Maybe go and book into a campground for a night, just to keep the space at Walmart and rest areas open for the truckers. I think that's something we can do. I'd love to hear some more.
RVers have more options than truckers.
We do. And I'd love to hear some more options from you guys in the comments, what else we can do collectively to make a difference, to, you know, just be there for each other, and be kind to each other. because everybody's dealing with different levels of stress and anxiety, and we don't know what other people are going through. So just be kind, I think. Mark, I've been monopolising this entire conversation.
Well, one other thing I think you started to touch on but didn't finish up on was that we had our RV rental series and our downsizing series that we were really excited to be able to share with you, but because it feels a little inappropriate to be sharing that right now, so we're going to continue creating that so that it's ready when things calm down a little bit. We can get back to that content. But
it's just irresponsible right now to say, oh yeah, here's some great state parks and places to stay in Florida. That will come. Our time to get back out there will come. But it just would be insensitive right now to...
Still a good time to do some route planning right now, though.
This is a great time to do some route planning and do research on campgrounds and where you can stay. Again, there are a bunch of great resources in that blog post I mentioned earlier, rvlove.com/COVID-19 is, but off the top of my head, campendium.com, campgroundviews.com, campgroundreviews.com. Daniel's just commented here, you can stay overnight at a harvest host. You could, if they're open, if they'll accept you. I mean, typically you go in and you're asked to patronize the business with purchases, so how much self-containment is that? Maybe you could make a donation instead. Maybe you could just pull in and have a safe place to park for the night, and say they could leave a bottle of wine out for you if you're staying at a winery, and do that. Or boondockers welcome as well. Other options. But yes, I agree with downsizing. Makes sense. It's better not to travel. It really is. Like I said, we're not even going out to national parks. We're not far from Joshua Tree. We considered going out there for a hike, but we want to be part of the solution. We don't want to be part of the problem. And we don't want to set the example through our actions that, I'm not saying it's not okay to do that. I'm just saying we're choosing not to. We've been at Joshua Tree. We'll be going back. It doesn't have to be right now. But harvest hosts are not pushing it right now. Someone's saying, don't overly worry about helping for the future. It might be the best medicine for RVs. I didn't quite follow that. I think we've missed a lot of the questions in the comments.
Well, they're so hard to read them. I need
so
glasses. I need glasses.
So are you getting into that high-risk group?
People are starting to see me squint. And it's because I'm trying to read the comment, but I should be putting glasses on because I can't read it.
Eric came to Nevada to get the license and registration. Now the DMV is closed till further notice. Right, good point. Look at all the areas of life it's impacting us. But, I guess on the bright side, DMV is not life critical. I would like to think that if your driver's license was out of date, that, well, you're probably not going to be driving anyway, so maybe that won't be such of an issue. But what else do we want to say and share and talk about here today? What are the questions have you... Guys, I'm sorry if we've missed some of your questions. I'm going to go back and reread them after this call's done. I have to do a bit more practice and get better on my YouTube lives because...
this is only the second one we've ever done.
Second one we've ever done. It was a while. So, you know what I think would also be great too? You're not getting older, Mark. You're getting better. He is. He
Maybe
is.
Both.
Get it being humble. He is very humble. Yeah. But I'm wondering, is anyone aware? I'm not aware right now, and I think it would be a great resource if there isn't one already.
I've seen that question a few
What
times.
is the cancellation policy for 1,000 Trails? Are you saying that you have a reservation already and you're wanting to cancel it? It's pretty... if you go into your 1,000 Trails, I'm assuming you've already got a reservation. But you can actually see that when you go in and log in the back end, and that'll show you what the cancellation policy is. It depends on the park, but you should be able to move or change your reservation without any worries.
Yeah,
I think
most
as long as it's 24 hours before.
Most of them don't have any. There are a few of the Trails collection parks that have cancellation fees, but most of the regular 1,000 Trails don't.
And some are being waived. Like, for example, KOA normally have a $10 cancellation fee, but they're waiving that now. And you don't have to cancel your reservations, guys. Postpone them. Postpone them, kick them down the road a little bit. I've seen a couple of comments pop up, and again, until I go verify the sources on things, I just want to be careful, of what I'm sharing out there. But it sounded like this could be the case until June. What are we now? It's like March 22nd. It wouldn't surprise me. If it is June, but I don't know. That's why it's so important that everything we all do now, drastic measures, not going out, I know we're trying to practice social distancing, but even just being at at parks and things like that. You know, it's a tough one. You have to make your own decision, really. 1000 Trails is waiving cancellation fees for trails collection. Thank you for sharing that. I'll go and update my post with that as well. Florida, not if they didn't charge a fee. Yeah, I think you'll find that's you're not probably going to be charged fees. And honestly, in the whole big scheme of things, it's maybe not one of the biggest concerns right now. But you could probably just move it back and have something to look forward to when this situation has settled down. But what else? We've been 35 minutes, man. I can ramble for a long time, can't I? I think what I was getting at before is anyone aware of a resource out there or a Facebook page or something where people that have property, this might already be out there, but I've just been thinking this could be a great idea. People that have property that would be willing for people with, you know, full-time RVers or, you know, to come and stay and hang out for a bit, obviously self-containing. Maybe that's something that would be a good resource. I don't know if somebody's...
Right. I mean, besides Boondockers Welcome, you mean, right?
Yeah, because Boondockers Welcome, you have to be a member to use it, or you have to be a host member. But for something that isn't necessarily for members, that is just a place where people can offer up their property and say, hey, you know, I've got 10 acres of land. You don't have any hookups, you'll be boondocking, but come on out. And if you've got a generator or if you've got solar and batteries, you can probably deal with that. You could get some bladders, get some water bladders to be able to get extra fresh water, especially if you don't have big tanks. There is a Facebook group to match displaced full-timers with property. Would you please put the link for that group down in the comments? That would be great. Wesley, this is helping us get through our stir-crazy moments while in lockdown. I know. Well, I'm glad. And we don't normally do YouTube lives, but, you know, if you guys find this valuable to check in more often in this way, as you know, we mostly have produced videos, then yeah, let us know, because we do have our Facebook page as well. We have our Living the RV Life community on Facebook. If you're not a member of that, come and join us over there. Some great people in there. We do also share a lot more often on Facebook and Instagram because it's just easier. So sometimes, you know, there'll be photos or little insights or tips and things like that. Where the trailers, we just sold 64 acres. We sold close April 30. Don't forget to like this video. Patrick's moving on. Thank you. Yeah, like the video. Hopefully you guys are getting something useful out of this, or at least some inspiration, or just know you're not alone. And it must be tough. Is it tough for you guys, like being stuck in at home? Who's having some challenges with that? Thank you, yeah, for sharing that link. That would be great. So when you guys are sharing some useful tips or resources, would really prefer it if you share the link as well, because this is one of the things that I really hope comes out of this, is that more people, when they're offering an answer on something, has an actual link as a resource for verification. So because we're, you know, let's face it, when we're in Facebook groups and people are answering questions, 90% of the time you have no idea who they are and they're random strangers, and you can get some varying answers, and we're just trying to do our best to keep things accurate and verified. But anyway, suggestion, if you have family with land, then yeah. So some people have land. I've got to be honest, guys, this is a conversation that we've started having, which I'm sure many other full-time, thank you, Valerie, you posted that link at the Living the RV Life groups. Great. I haven't been in that for a day or so thank you.
Right. I think you were starting to say that one of the things with this challenges with this lifestyle and not having a home base, it's increased some of our interest in having a home base somewhere, whether it's just a piece of land that we can boondock on that we know we can, or if it's a home base inside an RV park somewhere, or something like that that we know we could go bound, or otherwise set up with power and water, because then you can stay even longer. Right. But then again, maybe also we're or even offer it up to other people if we had it. Yeah, so. Or even have some land. We don't know, but it's definitely opened up a whole lot of conversation and a lot of thinking about what if, because this is Hip Camp. Yes, that's a great resource too. Thank you. Yes, I'll add that to my blog post. I didn't have them on my post. Thank you. Hip Camp is a good resource. But yeah, vlog with an interesting time for us to go full time. Right, it is an interesting time to go full time, and it is, you know, concerning seeing a lot of full timers out there that really are struggling finding somewhere to go. But I really, if at all possible, just try and find a private campground where you can hunker down for a while, maybe even away
preferably probably away from where you are, just in a little bit more of a...
Well, especially if you're,
rural
and that's
area.
one of the things I'm most excited about this, is that as a full-time RVer, we can generally avoid hotspots, you know, areas that are more significantly impacted than others. We can go to areas where they're less impacted as a full-timer.
But one thing I want to add to that is places like Moab actually have closed down and are asking non-residents not to come to Moab because it just is becoming overrun with tourists now, and their hospitals don't have the resources to be able to deal with sorry, I'm seeing some funny comments here. The hospitals don't have the resources to deal with people outside of their local population. But the resource webpage, so it's rvlove.com, and it's the latest blog post. So it's rvlove.com/COVID-19, COVID-19 with no dash. But you just go to our website and you'll find it. And on our Facebook page, I just shared it too before we started this call. But it's been great visiting with you guys today. Debbie said the ladies in our southern Arizona are making masks for our local hospital. That's how we're coping. That's fantastic. I think this is really, as difficult as it is for everyone, what a great opportunity for us to just become more conscious and mindful and slow down our lives and to be more mindful. I'm noticing I'm being more mindful of you.
Yeah, and
I'm
it's
thinking
just
of the
it's a
toilet
good
paper.
opportunity. It's a good opportunity to look at how you can help other people. Whether, you know, if you are in a traditional neighborhood or a traditional lifestyle, maybe reach out to the people nearby and see if they need any help. It might actually build community in traditional lifestyles and in the RV world too.
Yep. Yeah, it shows how charitable Americans can be, absolutely. And Australians too, Wes. Anyway, so no, that's great. Well, I'm glad you guys are finding that blog post with the resources useful. You know, go there first to get your answers. If we're missing something, please send us an email so we can add that. And we've, we are not the source of news, but we've just created links to the sources that are. And I just didn't catch that one from the trucker comment there. Did you catch it?
I caught half of it. I couldn't read it enough, but it said that as a former over-the-road trucker, he really appreciated that you acknowledging the value of the truckers.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah. I'm American by loving default. Well, thank you. I'm Osmerican. But thank you guys all so much for being here today and for contributing to the conversation, for all your love and support. And we're thinking of you all. And we really are all in this together. But everything that we do, just by containing ourselves and just being kind and understanding to others and being responsible for the information that we're sharing and making sure that it's accurate and, you know, not, what else? Just being self-sufficient, I think. As RVs, we're pretty good for that, actually. Pretty good at self-sufficiency, but this is teaching us in a whole other level.
Yeah.
I do think there could be a whole run on solar and lithium batteries after this, as more people want to get more off-grid capable, just to be able to have those options. So we really are grateful for that, and we're excited to share that content with you. So just before we wrap up here, the content we were sharing on the downsizing and shopping, just going to pause it a little bit until things settle down. We're doing the some more off-grid content and also connectivity and how we're working from the road while this is happening, because I think they're all practical content that is relevant, especially right now, and possibly more relevant right now than places we can go traveling later.
Right.
And
I just want to thank everybody for joining on and participating in the call today. It was actually really fun to see so much engagement and so many people getting in.
I think we had over 200 people at one point, which is fantastic considering we sprung this on you at short notice. And we'll provide some more notice next time, but we just decided today to go do that. But anyway, thank you all so much. We so appreciate you being part of our community and contributing to this great dialogue and sharing links down below. And any additions to the blog post, leave us a comment as well. And main thing to do, yes, Chris, is not to panic, which is difficult. But I think once we get your basic needs met, you've got some food, you have shelter, you have water, and you can just lay low. Just get your basic needs met. Then you, I think, and try not to stay on the news too much. We haven't been on it all today. I try to limit it to twice a day. I'm not always successful, but I just find if I can go in the morning to see if there are any significant updates, if I can go in the afternoon and see if there are any significant updates. But watching it all day, every day, I found was really not productive, and I didn't like how it made me feel. and I just feel that by taking care of your emotions and your well-being, really helps be a part of the solution as well, by being a little ray of light out there. Speaking of which, if you don't follow us on Facebook and Instagram, that's where we share pretty much daily with photos and little tips and insights. Last night, I shared a photo of what we made for dinner, which is a great lunch as well. A lot of people have been asking for some ideas on meal ideas because everyone's at home cooking now. Funnily enough, we've filmed a bunch of cooking videos this year and they haven't made it to the channel yet, so maybe that's the time to start putting those out. But thank you all so much for being here again, and stay safe, and we'll catch you next time. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't already, and click the bell for notifications, guys. All right, take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Now I've got to work out how to stop it.
Oh, the X?